Hey, welcome to a new video. Superpowers don't just exist in our favorite comic books or movies. There's people in the world who have real superpowers. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. Turkish Ezref Armageddon has a unique story because he was born completely blind. It wasn't until he wondered why he was the only one who needed explanations about his surroundings that he figured out that not everyone was like him. When he was 6 years old, he refused to accept that he would never know what the world was like. With the help of his father, he began to learn concepts such as shapes, colors, and measurements. At one point, he got his hands on a butterfly made from paper, so he could understand what insects looked like. And then he got an idea. He began to draw this shape. While still completely blind, he taught himself to master drawing with dimensions, perspectives, scale, and colors. At one point in time, he also used a technique to be able to see the lines he was drawing. Meet Veronica Sider, the woman with superhuman vision who has amazed doctors around the world. Veronica is claimed to have always had exceptionally good eyesight since childhood, but her visual acuity is said to be at least 20 times better than that of the average person. Veronica first gained recognition for her remarkable vision in 1972. She was able to identify 2 points on a measuring scale that were only 0.06 inches, or 1.6 millimeters apart, setting a world record for the smallest measurable visual acuity. Since then, she has consistently astounded everyone with her ability to see minute details that are even challenging for most advanced microscopes. Although scientists are not exactly sure how Veronica's superhuman vision works, it's believed that she has an increased number of rods and cones in her retina, allowing her to see the tiniest objects with extreme clarity. Turkish Ezref Armageddon has a unique story because he was born completely blind. It wasn't until he wondered why he was the only one who needed explanations about his surroundings that he figured out that not everyone was like him. When he was 6 years old, he refused to accept that he would never know what the world was like. With the help of his father, he began to learn concepts such as shapes, colors, and measurements. At one point, he got his hands on a butterfly made from paper, so he could understand what insects looked like. And then he got an idea. He began to draw this shape. While still completely blind, he taught himself to master drawing with dimensions, perspectives, scale, and colors. At one point in time, he also used a technique to be able to see the lines he was drawing. Dean Karnazes is an ultramarathon runner from the state of California. It all started when he decided one day to run from school to home. What makes Dean so special is that he can run hundreds of miles without cramping. Usually, our bodies give a signal that we get tired or get muscular pain, but with Dean, that never happens. Some of his great achievements are that he decided to run a marathon in 2002 to the South Pole with a temperature below 25 degrees Celsius. In 2006, he ran no less than 50 marathons in 50 states on 50 consecutive days. And in 2005, he walked 563 kilometers without stopping. It took him 80 hours and 44 minutes without sleeping. You might think he'd be soaked in sweat, but Dean doesn't have this at all. He can reduce the lactic acid in his body so he doesn't sweat, and besides that, he also has an incredible stamina. Lewis Pugh is a swimmer who has challenged himself to conquer inhospitable environments and advocate for environmental and social justice. He's gained recognition for his breathtaking swims across the world's most extreme waters. However, Lewis is no ordinary swimmer. He's broken several records, including being the first person to swim across an ice-covered lake in the Himalayas. He even swam across the North Pole and the South Pole when no human had dared to attempt it before. But what sets Lewis apart from other extraordinary swimmers is his dedication to addressing important issues facing our planet. He successfully lobbied the United Nations, resulting in the establishment of the largest protected marine area in the world. He also received the highest environmental award from the United Nations in recognition of his contribution to environmental protection. This has caught the attention of the production team of Aquaman and director James Cameron to raise awareness for the cause of ocean conservation. This is Maya Gamada, a 9-year-old girl who loves yoga a lot and can read while blindfolded. She can also see colors, alphabets, and gestures with her eyes closed. Exactly how she does this is still unexplained. Some say that years of practicing yoga opened her third eye. In many cultures and religions, especially Hinduism and Buddhism, the third eye symbolizes a state of enlightenment. It's usually located in the middle of the forehead and is believed that it can be awakened through meditation. People who have opened their third eye can gain the ability to have visions, become clairvoyant, have out-of-body experiences, and physically see human energies and auras. This is probably why Maya could see beyond ordinary sight. She fortunately used her extraordinary gifts not to harm people, but to spread awareness of the benefits of meditation. Master Zhao is a Tibetan monk who has been in a lot of television programs like Ripley's Believe It or Not and Superhumans. There he demonstrated his amazing superpower called Qigong. He taught himself this to maintain and improve physical and mental health. Master Zhao has treated famous people, such as the Dalai Lama to Olympians, and thousands of people who travel the world to receive his treatment. The 79-year-old is incredibly respected in China. In one of his demonstrations, he shows how he raises his body temperature, including his palms through meditation and concentration. A 1982 Harvard study showed Tibetan monks can indeed do this. In this video, Master Zhao heals the hand of an interviewer who strikes a stone with his palm and the back of his hand several times as often as he can. The monk makes the swelling disappear with the help of his superpower. Hammer Hands is a man who earned his reputation for his ability to break coconuts with his bare hands. But Hammer Hands, whose real name is Mohammed Karamonovic, can do more than just break coconuts. Not only does he perform this task with ease, but he can also do it with impressive speed. He also set a world record for the fastest time to drive 10 nails into a piece of wood using only his fists. Another remarkable feat is his ability to break thick planks with his bare hands. He's even bent thick metal bars with his teeth, further showcasing his superhuman strength. Some of his videos have garnered millions of views and caught the attention of celebrities like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Monks have always been surrounded by a certain mystique, but a Discovery Channel presenter named Dan White wanted to see it with his own eyes. In his search for real-life magic, he traveled to Nepal, where he heard about a Buddhist monk. This monk was said to possess the power of floating. This is also called levitation. People who claim to be able to levitate have always attracted attention. It's said that 700 years ago, Marco Polo met Tibetan clerics who could levitate. Could this form of magic actually exist? Judge for yourself. After all, Dan White captured it all on camera. The monk asked for some space and said that his energy wouldn't work if he was too close to him. Then he was making meditating noises and started levitating. Do you believe this is real? Let me know in the comments. Kim Peek was an American man from Salt Lake City and experienced developmental problems during his childhood, and it turned out that he had abnormalities in his brain, which caused him to be diagnosed with savant. Having savant means you have a photographic memory for certain things. Kim had a phenomenal memory in 15 different subjects, including history, sports, and music. Kim had trouble dressing himself up every day, but on the other hand, his memory was perfect. He could read books in just 1 hour. He did this by reading both pages at the same time, and remembering everything in detail where it was all about. To get to a certain destination, he didn't need Google Maps, because Kim had once read all the directions and atlases, so he was able to calculate the quickest route to it for each place. He also learned the phone book by heart, so when you gave him a name, he knew exactly who the person living next door was. The screenwriter Barry Morrow found Kim's gift so special that he used it as inspiration for the 1988 film Rain Man. Meet Mike Greenstein, a strongman who has gained recognition for his incredible ability to pull and lift heavy objects with his teeth. At the respectable age of 93, Mike has astounded audiences worldwide with his breathtaking feats of strength, earning him the nickname Mighty Atom Jr. Mike inherited his incredible strength from his father, Joseph Greenstein, who was known as the Mighty Atom. Mighty Atom was a legendary strongman from Poland, renowned for his superhuman ability to bend iron bars and horseshoes with his bare hands. Following in his father's footsteps, Mike developed a passion for strength and decided to become a strongman at a young age. One of Mike's most impressive accomplishments is towing a car with his teeth. His incredible strength has also earned him a place in the Guinness Book of World Records. Ivan Stoyakovich has attracted worldwide attention for his unusual ability to attract metal to his body. That's how he became known as the Magnet Boy from Croatia. Ivan can attract all kinds of metals, from coins to pans. According to sources, he can carry up to 25 kilograms of metal on his upper body. Interestingly, the heavier the object is, the stronger it sticks to Ivan. But that's not the boy's only amazing ability. He also appears to possess amazing strength and a healing gift. His family says that when Ivan was growing up, he was truly unusual. He started walking when he was barely 8 months old, and by the time he was 15 months old, he was rollerblading. And by the time he was 2 years old, he was riding a small motorcycle. However, scientists say that human magnetism has not yet been proven and that Ivan must just be a very sticky child, because his skin and sweat might have something to do with his gift. Liao Thaolin is an 85-year-old man from Malaysia who is known as the Magnet Man. This is because he's able to stick metal objects to his body. He found this out at a young age when he read an article about a Taiwanese family who had the same power. The man is able to stick up to 36 kilograms in total to his skin, only 2 kilograms per object, and in addition, he also managed to pull a car in this way. Scientists tell us that Liu's super strength wasn't due to magnetism, because they found no magnetic field in his body, but his skin did have some kind of sucking effect. This trait also seems to be genetic, because 3 of the man's grandchildren also inherited it. The man uses his superpower not only for publicity, but also for welfare of society. For example, he performs in various charity events. But apparently, several people have this superpower, including Aaron Rakwar from India. Mohabija Mickey Bojabasic is a man who can make metal objects stick to his body as if he's an invisible magnet force field. Born in Bosnia, Mickey discovered his unique abilities at the age of 6 when he first noticed a metal spoon sticking to his chest. Over the years, he's refined his skills and learned to make not only spoons, but also larger and heavier objects such as frying pans adhere to his body. But Mickey's powers didn't stop at sticking metal objects. He can also carry heavy weights only using the adhesive power of his skin. These incredible abilities have earned him the nickname Magneto, after the X-Men villain who has the power to control metal. Mickey has become a popular figure in his homeland and has amazed audiences worldwide with his strength and magnetism. He even set a world record for the most spoons, 53 in total, sticking to a human body at once. This is Tim Freed, an extraordinary person from Wisconsin, USA, who spent over 2 decades carefully developing his skills to become a Venom Man. He is said to be one of the few people in the world who has systematically taken snake bites to make his body immune to their venom. It's all in the name of a greater good. He wants to sacrifice his blood in the search for a universal antidote. Snakes are estimated to kill more than 100,000 people a year. Tim has endured more than 200 snake bites and 700 injections of what is supposed to be deadly snake venom. To that extent, he's proven his immunity to 2 of the deadliest snakes in the world, an inland tapir and a 3.5-meter-long black mamba, which he's been bitten by 100 times before. The venom of these snakes can stop your heart within hours, but Tim is immune to them and wants to make sure that people who are not immune can be helped with an antidote. Jyoti Raj is a free solo climber from the city of Chitraduga in India and is known as the real-life Spider-Man. In his hometown, he's also known as the Monkey King. He climbs the 17th century Chitragaga fort without safety equipment and tries to entertain the local people and tourists. He can do this within a few seconds with his bare hands. He also has enormous strength to hold onto the wall at an angle of 90 degrees. He would have learned this ability when he was studying monkeys climbing trees, but he had also learned things from his favorite action movies. He has no fear at all, and his ultimate dream is to be recognized as the best climber in the world. Every day, he does several trainings to become faster, more flexible, and more powerful. His next goal is to climb the tallest building on Earth, the 828-meter-high Burj Khalifa in Dubai. In a world full of noise, Jill Drake stands out with ear-shattering vocal cords. Imagine the loudest person you know, and multiply that by 1,000. That's Jill Drake, the woman with the world's loudest scream. With a Guinness World Record to her name, Jill can reach deafening levels of 129 decibels, equivalent to the sound of a jet engine. She's earned a place in history as one of the loudest individuals ever recorded. She's used her unique ability to raise awareness for important issues, such as noise-induced hearing loss and tinnitus. She's also performed at music festivals and events, where her scream is considered a crowd puller. Jill's scream causes physical discomfort and hearing damage if exposed for too long. Therefore, she wears protective earplugs during her performances and encourages others to do the same. Bella Devyatkina is only 8 years old, but already she can speak not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 8 different languages. In addition to her native Russian, she can also speak English, French, Chinese, Arabic, German, Spanish, and Italian. It seems that Bella inherited her mother's penchant for learning languages. In fact, her mother is a linguist, but Bella has surpassed even her mother's skills. The first languages she could speak were Russian and English, which her mother taught her every other day. When she was 10 months old, she started learning French, and by the time she was 3, she was speaking Chinese. She learned German when she met a German woman during her skating lesson, and she learned Spanish during her dance lessons. Then she learned Arabic and Italian through an app on her phone. And she doesn't plan to stop yet. The next language on her list is Japanese. It's no wonder she was awarded the Global Child Prodigy Award in 2020. In the next video, we see a mysterious man who manages to walk through a closed door without any problem. In the top left corner, we see that the video was probably shot by a security camera in 2016. The strange thing about it is the date seems to skip from 2016 to 2019. We also see a homeless man camped outside the store who seems baffled how the mysterious man walks through the closed door. It looks like some kind of time travel, or maybe he has some kind of superpower. The video footage could also be edited, but because of the homeless man and the running time in the upper left corner, I wonder if this is the case. In my opinion, it doesn't look edited, but I could be wrong. The original video was supposedly originally uploaded by the store owner, and he asked people online how this could be possible. What do you think? Does this mystery man have superpowers, or is this video edited? Let me know in the comments. Alain Robert is known as the French Spider-Man and has climbed some of the world's tallest buildings without any safety equipment. His achievements are the result of his exceptional skills, physical condition, and determination. With his spider-like agility and precision, he navigates vertical surfaces with seemingly effortless grace. Climbing tall structures requires immense strength, flexibility, and endurance. Some of the buildings he's managed to climb include the Eiffel Tower, the Burj Khalifa, and the Empire State Building. Alain Robert is rightfully considered the real-life Spider-Man. But another character from Marvel Comics named Venom seems to exist in real life as well. If we're to believe the following photo, the person has acquired some powers that enable him to climb walls just like Spider-Man. Venom bears resemblance to Spider-Man in various ways, but whether this story is true remains unknown. What we do know is that Alain Robert comes close to possessing all the superhuman powers of Spider-Man. Quite impressive, isn't it? Meet Oleg Skavish, a man who can pull heavy things with just his teeth. His superpower name is Tugtooth, and he was born in the Ukrainian city of Lviv. With sheer willpower and powerful teeth, he has accomplished something very extraordinary. His most impressive achievement is that he was once able to pull a total of not 1, not 2, but 5 trams with his teeth. He pulled them with the help of a steel cable and then dragged them over a distance of 14 meters. But that's not his most incredible achievement. In fact, Oleg is said to have once pulled a ship with his teeth. And not just any ship, but a cargo ship weighing a whopping 614 tons. To the disbelief of spectators, he pulled the ship over a distance of 16 meters. When I was doing research on people with superpowers, I found a video of a 28-year-old man named Zhang Zhengquang. He comes from the province of Chongqing in southern China and went viral because he could jump on water. The man had been practicing the Chinese martial art of Kung Fu for 18 years. In addition, he's very good at jumping, so he can easily jump his own length. So his idea was to combine Kung Fu with his jumping abilities. He's very athletic and warns people not to imitate him just like that. It took him hundreds of hours to get the hang of it. Zhang decided to open a Kung Fu training school in which he teaches students all about the Chinese martial arts. I don't know what I find more impressive, the fact that he can step on the water or that he can jump very high. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. In this next video, it appears that a man accomplishes the seemingly impossible task of creating fire with his bare hands, and with little to no assistance. Fire requires a combination of heat, fuel, and oxygen to ignite. Some people claim that this man possesses a superpower known as pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis is the ability to generate fire with the mind or through physical touch. It's a fictional power commonly seen in comics, movies, and other forms of popular culture. But if we're to believe this video, there are people who possess this superpower in real life as well. What's your opinion on this? Is this man putting on a show, or does he genuinely have superpowers? Red-headed boy Chase Bowman believes he was a Civil War soldier in his past life, and he has a lot of mysterious evidence that backs up his story. In fact, he described everything in great detail, from his rifle, uniform, the battlefield, and the hospital he was taken to when he was wounded, and even how he died. Most of these have been verified as real circumstances. Either it was all a coincidence, or Chase is really a reincarnated life. It all started when Chase was only 5 years old. During one Independence Day, when the sky was lit up by a fireworks show, he began to be so frightened from the explosive sounds that his parents had to take him to a hypnotherapist. According to Chase himself, he saw himself behind a rock with a gun in his hand on a Civil War battlefield. In his vision, he saw himself being killed. According to civil historians, the boy's descriptions are fascinatingly accurate. Do you believe in reincarnation or being born again in another body? Let me know in the comments. Isao Machi is a 46-year-old master of Japanese martial arts who emphasizes awareness and the ability to draw his sword quickly. He lives in Kawanishi in Japan and has a number of Guinness World Records to his name for his katana skills, including the fastest tennis ball cut by a sword at 820 km per hour, and the most sword cuts from straw mats in 3 minutes. Isao's superpower is that he has an incredibly fast reflex and short reaction time. He even manages to hit a BB airsoft bullet with his sword shot.
I heard it, but I didn't see it.
This was way too fast for me, so here you can see it slowed down. No one has any idea how he does this, but according to a professor from California, he would react even before the shot is fired. This is definitely a superpower, and on the internet, he's known for these amazing skills that he can do with his sword. When we think of superpowers, we often imagine abilities like flying or telekinesis, but some individuals possess a different kind of power that is equally remarkable. Stephen Crone was such a person, a man with a super immunity that baffled science. Crone's name is no coincidence, as he is not the first in his family to be seen as a medical marvel. He's the nephew of Burl Bernard Crone, after whom Crohn's disease was named. However, Stephen is immune to a different deadly virus, HIV. In fact, Stephen came into contact with the virus multiple times throughout his life, but never became infected. This made him a rare and valuable source in the fight against this disease. His unique condition and his willingness to participate in research studies led to significant scientific breakthroughs in studying the virus. Scientists discovered that Stephen's immune system produced a natural virus-blocking agent that could potentially be used to develop a vaccine or treatment for HIV. Amandeep Singh is a man who began practicing martial arts at the age of 10. Decades later, there's not much he hasn't accomplished. His daily routine fits a true superhero. He does 2,500 push-ups, lifts weights of 250 kilograms, and also does bench presses with weights of as much as 180 kilograms. He also practices throwing and taking punches, taking about 3,000 punches a day. He spends about 6 hours a day in the gym and runs 6 kilometers in the morning. This powerhouse has shown his strength in his attempt to break 50 different records and become the world's strongest man. Among other things, he's also lifted 2 motorcycles at once and broken 53 bottles in a row with his bare hands. So this is not really someone you want to pick a fight with. We've seen it in superhero movies where the heroes try to conceal their identities by wearing a cape and a hoodie, and we think that this would never happen in real life, but it did. In this video, a mysterious figure used her telekinetic powers multiple times in a supermarket. The people doing their groceries couldn't believe their eyes. First, her back was seen glowing as she used her power to retrieve something from a high shelf. But later in the video, she demonstrated her superpower again. When a little girl was almost hit by a shopping cart, the masked figure pushed the shopping cart away with a hand gesture. The superpower she used is called telekinesis. It's the ability to move or manipulate objects using the power of the mind. The concept of telekinesis has existed for centuries, with stories of people claiming to possess these abilities dating back to ancient times. One of the earliest documented claims of telekinesis comes from the 17th century, when German mathematician Johann Georg Faust claimed to be able to move objects with his mind. The Soviet Union was one of the first countries to conduct scientific experiments in the field of telekinesis. In the 1960s and 70s, Soviet scientists conducted a series of experiments trying to train people to develop telekinetic powers. Unfortunately, I couldn't find further information about it, but it certainly makes you think. Earthbending is a fictional martial art from the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender. It would be based on a certain kung fu style called Hongya. Through geokinesis and earthbending, these people could manipulate the earth with their spiritual power. In the following video, we see a real person who uses this technique to get a stone out of the ground. According to many people, this would not be possible in real life, but unfortunately, I couldn't get more info about the video, so who knows? The original video was deleted from YouTube, so unfortunately we can only guess if this was real or not. In the end, the guy manages to get the stone completely out of the ground, and then he stands on it. What do you think, real or fake? Pavel Trusov is a man who needs no introduction in the world of boxing. He's primarily known for his incredible Guinness World Record for throwing the most punches in 1 minute. You could say he's a very fast fighter. Pavel's official count for the most punches in 1 minute was an astonishing 322 punches. That's an average of over 5 punches per second. But what's impressive is not just his record, but also the technique and precision with which he throws each punch. He utilizes his entire body weight with every strike. It's also important to note that Pavel's achievement goes beyond mere physical strength. To accomplish what he has, he had to train tirelessly and push himself to the limits, much like Batman has to hone his skills. At a local church in San Gonzalo's, near Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, you will find an 8-year-old girl named Elani Santos, who performs miraculous faith healing. She is said to be able to cure serious illnesses, such as arthritis, HIV, and even cancer. Many videos show Elani touching sick people and singing to them, after which they get better. In one of the videos, she is said to have helped an old woman to walk again without her walking stick. But there's also other videos showing her healing a man who's been suffering from HIV for 7 years. According to Elani, when she prays for someone, she feels the supernatural power of God flowing through her. Therefore, she says she'll continue using her God-given gifts to heal the sick. She added that when she grows up, she would like to become a doctor to continue her healing mission. Another superpower that has fascinated people for centuries is flying. Imagine this, you're filming a fun video of a historical monument when suddenly you see a real man soaring above you. Throughout history, people have made numerous attempts to achieve this feat. From Leonardo da Vinci's ornithopter designs to successful flight of the Wright brothers in 1903, there have been many attempts and successes in human flight. One of the earliest attempts at human flight involved using wings made of bird feathers. In the 19th century, various inventors attempted to create machines that would enable humans to fly. Some of these early attempts included hot air balloons and gliders. In 1982, Swiss artist Yves Rossi created a jetpack with 4 engines for powered flight. Since then, Yves has flown with his jetpack across several major rivers and over the Grand Canyon. But if you've ever wondered what flying humans would look like, would they resemble the man in this video? Humans have always wanted to fly, and so we've created things like airplanes and jetpacks that are the closest to it. However, in March 2009, a video was uploaded to YouTube where a man is taking a walk in the woods with his dog. Suddenly, he comes across a child who appears to be floating in the air. On the ground next to it appears to be a woman who may be the child's mother. If you look closely, the child also seems to be changing direction while floating in the air. There also appears to be no branches or wires attached to her. As soon as the man's dog starts barking, the girl lands on the ground and runs away together with the woman. Since then, it's unclear what exactly is going on here. Do you believe there's a certain way that people can fly, or do you think this is nonsense? Let me know in the comments. Yang Guangji, also known as the Chinese eye socket man, has gained international attention for his incredible feats. He hails from Anshan in the Guangzhou province of China and possesses a unique talent. One of his most astonishing abilities is his power to pull heavy objects, including a car, using his eyelids. But I can already hear you thinking, how is it possible to lift so much with your eyelids? To put this into perspective, Yang can lift 32,000 times more than an average person. Despite the physical discomfort and pain associated with his performance, Yang has become accustomed to the sensations over time. He has shared with the media that while his feats were initially painful, he has learned to adapt and preserve. However, his dedication to pushing the limits of the human body goes even further. He can do other astounding things, including standing barefoot on sharpened knives. His stunts, though, come with significant risks and should not be attempted by others. They require years of practice and exceptional physical conditioning. You probably heard of people who have a nose that they can smell very well with. But do you know of the story of a superwoman who can smell Parkinson's disease? Meet Joy Milne, who has this unique gift. For years, she commented on her husband's wonderful musk smell. But when her husband came home one day, he had a smell that she described as a foul, strange smell, and she was the only one who could smell it. At the age of 45, her husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. To deal with this difficult time, the husband and wife joined a support group, where Joy discovered that everyone smelled like this. The doctors couldn't believe her claims until they conducted an experiment. Here they gave her a bunch of t-shirts of people with Parkinson's and without Parkinson's. To their shock, she was correct in all of her answers. She could even distinguish between early and late stages. Even after the tragic death of her husband, Joy hopes her gift will contribute in which similar conditions can be detected before it's too late. This is the story of a true kung fu martial arts master named Masayama. This man is considered the founder of Kyokushin karate, and his accomplishments were deemed impossible by many. His legendary career in martial arts has earned him recognition as a true martial arts master. Masayama was born in Korea in 1923 and began training in martial arts at a young age. He quickly moved to Japan, where he honed his skills by practicing traditional karate. He became known for breaking the horns of bulls with his bare hands and reportedly fighting against 100 men in a single day. Masayama was a true warrior who believed that the path to martial arts mastery lay in challenging oneself to the utmost limits. In 1953, he secluded himself in the mountains of Chiba, Japan to live in nature, train his body, and master the art of karate. And he succeeded, emerging from the mountains as a true karate master. He went on to establish his own system, which was honed with the traditional Japanese name Kyokushin, meaning the ultimate truth. Jamie Cretan, better known as Canhead or the Human Sucker, has a peculiar characteristic that makes his skin function as suckers. This is said to be because his body temperature is higher than others, causing the pores in his skin to change. Because of this property, he can stick cans on his head without them falling off. This is so rare that doctors don't have a specific name for it yet. Jamie doesn't know why his skin does this, but he says he feels otherwise healthy. His talent also earned him a place in the Guinness Book of World Records. He has the world record for wearing the most cans on his head. His strange quality would also make him less likely to get sick, less likely to age, and his wounds could heal much faster. In 2010, he was shown at The Ellen Show showing his talent or superpower. Since then, people and companies have been paying him thousands of euros to stick their brands on his head. The next viral video of a man lifting a truck with his hands has left many astonished. Trucks can weigh up to 88,000 pounds or up to 40,000 kilograms, depending on their size and capacity. Even lifting the smallest truck requires an incredible amount of strength. So how is it that this man in this video was able to lift a truck so effortlessly? Unfortunately, it still remains a great mystery. However, the Guinness World of Records states that the record for lifting or moving a truck is held by Hafthor Bjornsson. However, the Guinness World Record states that the record for lifting a moving truck is held by Hafthor Bjornsson. You may also know him as the character the Mountain from Game of Thrones. But the first recorded instances of strongmen lifting or moving trucks date back to the early 20th century, when circus performers demonstrated such feats of strength. The fact that the man in the video lifts trucks so easily, though, remains puzzling. One thing we know for sure is that the person in the video is definitely someone with superpowers. Would you like to be able to do the same? Let me know in those comments. The next boy from India has been nicknamed Electric Boy. His name is Deepak Jangra. He's 16 years old, and his superpower is that he can endure electricity of 11,000 volts without feeling any pain at all. That's enough electricity to power about 500 homes, or his entire neighborhood. He discovered his extraordinary gift when he tried to fix his mother's heating system. He accidentally touched a live wire and felt nothing. Still, it's best not to try this at home, as it is life-threatening. However, the boy attracted attention of many people because of this, who were very surprised. He claims that his unnatural gift is a special gift from God. The Goddesses of Rescuers in China are a group of female lifeguards who must learn combat kung fu before they can be recruited. These women are trained in martial arts by monks from the famous Shaolin temple, and their rigorous training regimen allows them to develop a unique set of skills that are essential. Training for the Goddesses of Rescuers is intensive and requires a lot of focus and discipline. The women spend several years training in various styles of martial arts, including the 5 animals of Shaolin Kung Fu, based on the movements of the tiger, crane, leopard, snake, and dragon. To succeed, they must be physically fit and mentally strong, and endure long periods of training, and maintain their focus and concentration. The connection between monks and martial arts in China is a long tradition. Monks from the Shaolin Temple are renowned for their mastery of Kung Fu, and their knowledge and techniques have been passed down through generations. The goddesses of rescuers learn from these monks, adopting their wisdom and techniques to develop their own unique set of skills in combat kung fu, and use their abilities to save lives on the beaches and in the waters of China. The next boy from India has been nicknamed Electric Boy. His name is Deepak Jangra. He's 16 years old, and his superpower is that he can endure electricity of 11,000 volts without feeling any pain at all. That's enough electricity to power about 500 homes, or his entire neighborhood. He discovered his extraordinary gift when he tried to fix his mother's heating system. He accidentally touched a live wire and felt nothing. Still, it's best not to try this at home, as it is life-threatening. However, the boy attracted attention of many people because of this, who were very surprised. He claims that his unnatural gift is a special gift from God. As everyone knows, the human body needs sleep to function properly. It's a natural and necessary process that is essential for rest and rejuvenation. However, there's one Vietnamese man who claims that he has not slept a single night in over 6 decades. His name is Thai Ngok, and his story has left people from all over the world astonished. According to various news reports, Thai claims that he hasn't closed his eyes since 1962. In fact, he says that he first had difficulty sleeping after getting a fever in 1973. This fever lasted for several days and disrupted his sleep pattern. He then claims he simply never slept again. Despite his lack of sleep, he's said to be in good health and continues to work daily on the farm. Experts, however, are puzzled by the man's condition to this day. The world record for sleep deprivation stands at 11 days and 25 minutes, achieved by Randy Gardner in 1964. But if we're to believe Thai Ngok's story, he has far surpassed that record. Allegedly, the man drinks large amounts of coffee and tea to keep himself awake. Do you believe this story? Prem Singh is a 65-year-old man who's become famous on a back street in Old Delhi, India for his extraordinary ability. I advise you not to imitate this at home, because this chef actually uses his bare hands to grab fried fish from a vat of oil heated to 200 degrees Celsius. For an average person, this would cause blisters, burns, or more adverse effects. But Prem says he's been doing this for over 25 years without any problems. Prem says he inherited this ability from his father, who could also do it. He's been in the news for his superpower, and his store became incredibly popular, and visitors come from all over the world to buy his fish and admire his superpower. In the future, the man hopes to expand his restaurant and continue the tradition of frying with bare hands. Dave Mullins is a filmmaker, freediver, and a name you definitely should know. He's globally recognized as one of the top freedivers, with multiple world records to his name. Additionally, he has garnered numerous accolades throughout his career. Dave began his journey to become a professional freediver at the age of 18 when he first started diving with scuba gear. In his early career, Dave worked as a commercial driver, performing underwater repair and maintenance tasks. After a few years, he discovered his passion for freediving. He honed his skills, competed in contests worldwide, and ultimately focused on breaking world records. For example, Dave holds the world record for breath holding underwater for 8 minutes and 31 seconds. Another notable achievement was a world record dive to 423 feet or 129 meters, making him the first person to break the 328 feet or 100-meter barrier. In addition to his incredible feats in freediving, he's also an experienced surfer and mountaineer. There's several stories circulating that monks can have real superpowers, but this next monk named Zhao Rui can even put a drill against his head without suffering a scratch. Needless to say, this is highly discouraged, and some people don't believe it's real. Zhao would spend his entire life learning martial arts, and he was quickly drawn to the discipline it required. When he was 16, he ran away from home and joined the Shaolin Temple. At first, he only wanted to learn the art of Chinese kickboxing, but as you can see, he went much farther than that. Since then, he's become a kung fu master. At one time, he was a shy boy, but after being able to break literal bricks with his hands, he's said to have become much more confident. He's also able to lie on a bed with sharp spear points. The concept of flying carpets has existed for thousands of years, and it's commonly motif in Middle Eastern folklore, including a story of Aladdin and his magic carpet. But apparently the idea of flying on a magic carpet is not limited to movies. In this video, you can see a man in an empty street preparing to fly on his magic carpet. Could this man be real-life Aladdin? As if pushed by an invisible force, the carpet lifts off, even if only for a few seconds. Watching the video clip immediately raises the question, what power and energy would be required for something like this to actually happen? Is the invisible force actually wind, or is the man manipulating it? To begin with, for people sitting on a flying carpet, you would need a force that can lift not only the person's weight, but also the weight of the carpet itself. And what about gravity? According to physics, the force required to lift an object is proportional to its mass. Likely, this is a trick rather than a superpower. The next kung fu master on this list, called Hoang Hu, has a special strength, namely his index finger. All his life, he's been a fan of Bruce Lee, and one day he found out that by using only his index finger, he could easily pierce a coconut. As you know, coconuts are very hard, so the fact that this man can do this is pretty amazing. Before he became famous, he showed his superpower on the streets of Malaysia and Singapore. In 2009, he was able to pierce 4 coconuts in 30 seconds, which gave him a Guinness World Record. A few years later, in 2011, he managed to do this again, but in just 12 seconds, he broke his old record. During an interview, the guy told that it's better not to do this at home. He's been specializing in this stunt for over 50 years, and doing shows all over the world. Throughout his career, he only broke his finger 3 times. He's also very happy that his finger is the reason he can raise and support his family. Louis Cyr was not just an ordinary strongman, he may have been the world's strongest man of all time. Standing at approximately 6 feet or 1.82 meters tall and weighing almost 400 pounds or 180 kilograms, he was a force to be reckoned with. His incredible feats included lifting weights that no one else could lift, and setting world records in back and shoulder lifting. His world record for lifting a platform with 8 men on it stood for over a century. He's still regarded as a cultural icon in Quebec and recognized as one of the strongest men in history. But Louis's legacy goes beyond his physical abilities. He was also a successful businessman with diverse interests, and he used his wealth to support charitable organizations. Despite his massive size and strength, those who knew him described him as a gentle giant with a kind heart. Like human magnetism, pyrokinesis is an unusual gift not yet recognized by science. Pyrokinesis is the psychic ability of a person to create and control fire by using only the mind. There's been many such cases, including an 11-year-old girl from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. According to locals, she could set things on fire with her mind, including a mattress, a ventilator, and even more equipment. Her father claimed that the girl inexplicably acquired this gift. Being completely baffled, they had her examined by doctors from different hospitals, but all the tests were normal. However, in another test conducted by a team of scientists from Hong Bang University, something unusual was discovered that required further investigation. We couldn't find any more info about this, so I'm actually curious if the story's true or not. What do you guys think? The original uploader of the following video would claim that the footage is 100% real, and that it was broadcast on national television in China and Hong Kong. It seems that a camera crew is asking people questions on the street, until suddenly a man with a hood on his head appears in the picture, who has glowing blue hands. The cameraman notices this mysterious man and decides to film him. The man with the hood notices that he's being filmed and decides to run away. At first, you might think it's just fake, but there's a lot of people in the comments who argue with each other and say that the video footage is real. The cameraman decides to run after him, and the mysterious man with the hood suddenly teleports to the other side of the street. The video ends with the text that there are extraterrestrials and supernatural people living among us. Do you believe this too? Let me know in the comments. Scott Flansbang is a 57-year-old man from New York who has a cool superpower. And when you have to take a math exam, it comes in handy too. After all, Scott is known as the Human Calculator. In the year 2001, he was declared the fastest human calculator by the Guinness Book of World Records. Scott is eager to teach his specialty to other people. He travels around the world offering all kinds of courses. Even Stan Lee commented on his talent and was impressed that he was faster than a calculator. Yes, you heard that right. Scott actually proved that he can do math faster than a calculator. How cool is that? In real life, Scott is a math teacher, and nowadays he even has his own TV show about math. Would you like to be able to do math as fast as he can? Let me know in those comments. Did you know that 9 out of 10 people survive a lightning strike? However, they're often left with injuries or other health problems. But the story of a boy named Josiah Weidman is unique. He made it out alive with almost no injuries, and he believes this event gave him superpowers. One day, he was out skateboarding with a friend when he was struck by lightning. Josiah tells that he was thrown about 3 feet into the air. Eyewitnesses saw him bounce on his head, and then he landed on his back. One of the bystanders who saw this happen immediately called the hospital. Josiah says that all he can remember from the incident was a little heat and that his heart stopped for a moment. Fortunately, he was soon back in good shape, and the boy says that he therefore expects to get a superpower soon. At the age of 17, Russian fighter Asab Tamev from Grozny, Chechnya, fought for the first time, and he managed to win this match, giving him the nickname Hulk. Since then, he's been called the Russian Hulk, and over the years, he's become an expert in various martial arts. In addition to his incredible body mass, he also has one of the thickest necks in the world. His neck has a circumference of 25 inches or 54 centimeters, and his head is so strong that he can even pull a car with it. It looks like you definitely don't want to have any problems with this guy. According to himself, he is said to have gotten his neck and his physique from doing a lot of bench pressing and squat exercises with farming machinery. Wolverine, also known as Logan, is a fictional superhero from Marvel Comics. You may have seen him in X-Men or the Avengers, for example. As far as I know, Wolverine was always a fictional story, but looking at this video footage coming from a security camera, I'm starting to have doubts. This video footage was allegedly shot in October 2009 at a hospital in Russia. The man walks into the doctor's office, hangs up his coat, and says he has a problem. The female doctor says he can show what the problem is, and at that moment, knives suddenly appear from the man's hands. The doctor stands up and is startled by this, because she's never seen anything like it before. The woman's reaction seems pretty authentic to me, but what do you think? Do you think this man is the real-life Wolverine, or is this an actor for some kind of TV show? Budimir Sobat, also known as Buddha, is a 56-year-old diver, and he managed to break a world record for the longest time he could hold his breath underwater. He managed to hold it 22 seconds longer than the previous record holder. Budimir managed to set this record in his hometown Sisak in Croatia on March 27, 2021, in front of numerous journalists and doctors. That day, he held his breath for seemingly an impossible total of 24 minutes and 33 seconds. What's his secret? Some say it's a superpower. Budimir, however, says that the key to success is to focus on the heartbeat while keeping his eyes closed. This way, he can listen to his heart and become calm. Another strategy he uses is counting muscle contractions in order to stay conscious. In this video, we see two female students getting off a crowded school bus in Thailand. One of the girls appears to be having an altercation with one of the boys on the bus. They stand there arguing for a minute, and one of the boys decides to step forward, whereupon the girl's friend uses some kind of telekinesis to push the boy against the bus. Another boy who also got off the bus wants to run towards her, and he is too pushed against the bus. After the girl uses her superpower, she seems to get scared by this. She turns around and manages to push back some tables and chairs by using telekinesis. At one point, she starts screaming and the video ends. This, in my opinion, is a very mysterious video. Some people say it's fake, while others say it really happened. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Zhang Jizu is a Chinese man who has supernaturally strong powers. Check out this video footage where he manages to bend a metal pipe by kicking it. But he does other impressive feats, including breaking cable ties. Or how about breaking red bricks with his bare hands like it's nothing? It's unclear how he became so powerful, but I think we can definitely call this a superpower. What I find most incredible is how he even manages to break pebbles with his bare hands. How do you think he got these superpowers? If you ask people what superpower they would most like to have, most would choose flying. After all, who wouldn't want to soar in the skies like a bird? It's never been officially proven that any person has ever been able to fly, although stories do circulate. The closest thing to flying that a person can achieve is probably when there's a lot of wind in the area. In fact, the man in this video manages to hover in the air for several seconds, but he needed some wind to do so. Wind, after all, is air that moves from areas to high areas of low atmospheric pressure. But because wind is actually air in motion, it contains momentum, which can be transferred to the object that the wind hits. Therefore, winds can push objects around or even make people fly, but they must be very powerful to do so. Being struck by lightning is undoubtedly one of the strangest things you can experience. But a man named Tony Sikoria says he even got superpowers from it. Before the lightning strike gave him his power, he was an ordinary doctor. He was 42 years old. He was walking the streets of Albany, New York, and decided to make a call on a public phone. After hanging up the phone and taking a few steps, a bolt of lightning struck him. According to the man, he saw himself lying on the ground with a blue and white light around him. When he finally woke up in the hospital, he thought he had a really cool story to tell, but 2 weeks later, he got the strange urge to play piano music. Before the incident, he was never interested in music, but in no time, he even managed to create beautiful piano compositions. Wim Hof is a Dutchman better known as the Iceman. He could withstand extreme cold meditation, breathing, and using his mind. In an episode of the BBC, a number of researchers are trying to find out how Wim got a special characteristic and how he can withstand extreme cold temperatures. One of the things Wim does every morning is sit in an ice-cold bath for a few minutes. Athletes would also use this way regularly to improve their recovery from physical activity. In the year 2000, Wim set a world record by swimming an incredible distance of 57.5 meters under the ice. In 2007, he would have also run the fastest half marathon barefoot in ice and snow. In 2007, he wanted to reach the top of Mount Everest in his shorts and sandals, but he had to stop at an altitude of 7,400 meters because his toes were frozen. He did manage to reach Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, for which he also ended up in the Guinness Book of World Records. Remember Superman's ability to see through objects with X-ray vision? Apparently, this is not as fictional as we thought, if we are to believe Natasha Demkina. Born in 1987, this girl claims to have special vision that she can turn on and off, allowing her to see inside human bodies. The gift allows her to see organs and human tissues, and it also allows her to provide medical diagnosis. Since then, she's done countless lectures all over the world. Discovery Channel even invited her and decided to investigate her superpower. She told them that when she was 10 years old, she started manifesting her powers. She says she can switch to what she calls her medical vision in a split second and then analyze and see people's organs. Do you believe this superpower really exists? Let me know in those comments. This is Hasna Muslamani, a girl from Lebanon who became famous for her crystal tears. According to the story, she could literally cry crystal tears. Hasna says that she was in class at school when she felt something fall from her eyes, and when she looked, it was a transparent little object. After that incident, she felt a little painful sensation in her eyes. Her worried parents then took her to the hospital, where she amazed her doctor with more crystal tears. The doctor allegedly removed large crystals from her eyes. Several weeks passed, but Hasna continued to produce crystal tears, but the pain eventually went away. She cried about 10 crystals a day, and experts couldn't find any medical explanation for the case. However, locals believe that she's a miracle, and they would visit the girl to see her crystal tears. Number 4. How many people in the world can say they pump up tires with their nose? Meet a man named Ni Yongbing, who apparently has a powerful nose. In the following video footage in Chengdu, China, he uses his strange skills to inflate car tires. The man holds a rubber hose to his nostrils and blows as hard as he can. He can even do this while several people are standing on the car tire. But he didn't have this skill all his life. A few years ago, he told a doctor that when he blows up balloons with his nose, it would benefit his health. These days, he hopes to travel the world with his act to compete in various talent shows to showcase his unique skill. Frank Richards, also known as the Human Cannonball, was a performer with a superhuman belly. In the 1920s, Frank realized that because of his strong muscles, it was very easy to endure punches to his belly. For example, he had people jump on his belly. Then he started experimenting with a hammer and decided to push his limits further and further. This is very dangerous, but Frank was specialized and even trained with the world-famous boxer Jack Dempsey. His ultimate test was a performance that earned him his nickname, the Cannonball. The incredible thing was that he did this twice a day for years. This performance certainly gives him the title of Superhuman Superpower. He claims that this never caused any health problems for him. Frank even became so famous that he appeared in an episode of The Simpsons with a similar story. Norman Gray is a world-renowned expert in all things related to honeybees. He's a professor, scientist, and author, and while he may not have any real superpowers, it's pretty impressive to have multiple bees on your body while playing a musical instrument. But not to worry, he's been specializing in handling trained bees for about 7 decades. Norman even once managed to train bees that collected nectar from a sponge in his mouth. How bizarre is that? In addition, he also holds the record for most bees in his mouth, at 109. Another of Norman's accomplishments was officially attended by the Guinness World Records, where he wore a bee suit with about 88 pounds or 40 kilos of bees on his body. I don't think many people would dare imitate his feat. I personally go crazy when I hear one buzzing sound. If you look at this little Chinese boy named Nang Yasui, you will see that he has beautiful, distinct eyes. His sky blue eyes alone are miraculous enough, but there's more. When his eyes are illuminated by a flashlight in a dark room, they appear neon green. Most amazing of all, he's able to see in the dark. Experts suggest that the boy underwent a genetic mutation. Interestingly, his father says that his eyes are sensitive to bright sunlight, but he has perfect vision in the dark. Nong first became famous for the beautiful color of his eyes, but when people heard about his night vision, reporters flocked to his home to document his gift. Daniel Quiche is a 55-year-old man who was born blind. He initially thought that because of this, he would never be able to go anywhere. But he didn't leave it at that, and managed to develop his own method of moving through life without help from others through echolocation. Echolocation is normally a method used by whales and dolphins to navigate. But Daniel found out that he could make a clicking sound with his tongue, which gave him echoes back from objects in his environment. This allows Daniel to move freely wherever he wanted and still travel the world. Today, he's also the president of a non-profit organization called World Access for the Blind, in which he and a team of people managed to teach more than 500 blind children how to use this echolocation method. Daniel Browning Smith, better known as Rubber Boy, is an American contortionist, actor, stuntman, and entertainer. This man holds the title of the most flexible person in history. When he was only 4 years old, he was already inspired by snake people and had the motivation to become the best in the world. The extraordinary flexibility is a gift from his birth. But of course, over the years, he's also been able to develop his skills through daily training. He can do incredible tricks like maneuvering himself through a tennis racket or even folding himself into a small suitcase. It's not for nothing that he has 7 Guinness World Records to his name. Thanks to this superpower, he was able to make it his career, and he performs shows all over the world and can be seen in films, commercials, and TV programs such as Stan Lee's Superhumans. How many things can you remember from the past? More than 50% of you have probably already forgotten. But this is not true for a woman named Rebecca Sharrock. She has HSAM. Only a few people in the world have this, and it means you can remember every detail from your life. So this superpower or gift prevents you from forgetting anything. Rebecca can, for example, recount the entire series of Harry Potter books, as well as all the memories from when she was a toddler. In her book, she describes her unforgettable experiences in detail. Her first memory when she was 12 days old is that her parents carried her to the driver's seat of the car and put her there for a photo. She also remembers in exact detail what happened on all her birthdays. What kind of... Ben Underwood was a very special boy who lost his eyes at the age of 3. Thanks to the use of echolocation, he learned to see again. Echolocation is the ability to know where objects are by making clicking sounds with his tongue. When he does this, he gets an echo back, allowing him to go wherever he wanted. The echolocation allowed him to identify things around him, and nothing was impossible for him. Several blind people have learned to use this method, and it's also known that a number of animals use it, including dolphins and bats. Ben would have also developed this technique at such an extent that he could do almost anything a person with eyesight could do, so he didn't need a guide dog or a blind stick. He could ride a bike, play a video game, and play basketball with his friends. Unfortunately, Ben is no longer with us, but he has become a huge inspiration for many people. What kind of superpower would you like to have? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.